In real estate, some deals just seem dead on arrival. They're way too complex, maybe a little too unconventional for a typical bank loan. But what if I told you there's a specialist whose entire job is to bring those deals back to life? Today, we're cracking the code on a little known but absolutely crucial role, the seller finance specialist.
So think about it. When a sale gets really creative with the financing, who is actually connecting all those dots? I mean, yeah, the agent and broker are obviously crucial, but for the most intricate financial puzzles, there's often another expert working quietly behind the scenes, just making it all click. All right, let's pull back that curtain and meet this key player. This role, it's often called a finance consultant, or to be more specific, a seller finance specialist. For this explainer, we're looking at the work of Kevin Young Sr., who's a real pro in this niche. He's basically the person you call when a standard spreadsheet just isn't going to cut it. So first, let's get a quick handle on seller finance. It's pretty much what it sounds like. The seller, instead of a bank, is the one financing the purchase for the buyer. Now, this opens up a ton of possibilities, but you guessed it, it also creates a really complex arrangement that needs an expert hand to structure it the right way. So, what does this specialist actually do all day? Let's take a look at how they turn this tangled web of financial questions into a clear, totally actionable proposal. Their job is all about bringing clarity through analysis. They'll dissect the loan structure, which is often called the note. They explain these really complex financial ideas in simple terms, they run all the numbers, and then they bundle it all up into a formal proposal. You can think of them as the deal's financial translator and its strategist. And a core concept they have to master is the time value of money. It's this big idea that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow, simply because of its potential to earn interest. Now, for a seller who's getting paid over, say, 10, 20, even 30 years, understanding this isn't just important, it is absolutely critical to knowing what that deal is truly worth. Now, this specialist doesn't just work in a vacuum. Nope, they are a pivotal part of the deals team. So how do they fit in and, collaborate to get this thing across the finish line? The process is actually pretty straightforward. An agent hits a wall with a complex deal, so they bring in the specialist. That specialist then dives deep, models all these different scenarios, and delivers a formal proposal. This document basically becomes the roadmap that empowers everyone, the agent, the seller, and the buyer, to move forward with confidence. And here is the crucial distinction, okay? The specialist provides the analysis, not the final decision. They're a strategic partner for sure, but that final handshake, that happens between the main players, the broker, the seller, the buyer, and sometimes even a third-party investor who might be looking to purchase that loan later on. And that distinction brings us to a really critical point: professional boundaries. Knowing what this specialist does is just as important as knowing what they absolutely don't do. The professional lines here are crystal clear. The specialist's client is the agent. Their job is to empower the agent, never ever to go around them, and speak directly to the seller or buyer. And just as critically, they stay in their lane. This is financial analysis only. We're not talking legal, tax, or accounting advice. That's what lawyers and CPAs are for. And this is all done completely above board. To comply with RESPA, that's a federal law designed to prevent kickbacks and make sure everything's transparent, the specialist's fee is clearly itemized on the final settlement statement. They're just listed as a third-party service provider, which really cements their role as an independent advisor. So after all the analysis, all the collaboration, all these careful boundaries, what's the point? Why does this role even exist in the first place? It really all boils down to this one quote from the specialist himself, Kevin Young Sr. He says, "I am here to help the agent get their listing sold." It is that simple. The mission is laser-focused on that one outcome. And ultimately, that's the value they bring. The specialist is the key that can unlock a property that might otherwise just sit on the market forever. They provide the financial creativity to turn a complex, unconventional deal from stuck to sold. So as real estate deals just keep getting more creative and more complex, it kind of begs the question, right? Is a finance specialist the missing expert your deal needs to unlock that next big opportunity? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.